Anchor Bay is back. Remember Anchor Bay Entertainment? They were huge back in the late 90s, early to mid 2000s. They were the ones who just were pumping out all kinds of horror, classic horror, new horror on DVD and VHS and eventually Blu-ray and things like that. And Anchor Bay was really, really cool. And they kind of went away. Well, Anchor Bay is back with a new release of the film from 2023, Abruptio. I keep wanting to call it Abruptio, but it's called Abruptio. It is 94 minutes, directed by Evan Marlowe, and has the voice talents of James Marsters, Christopher McDonald, Hana Lee, Jordan Peele, Robert Englund, Sid Haig, and Robert Fulcher. It is English audio with English SDH subtitles, and boy is this weird. In a really good way, though. This is really pretty cool. This is all done with puppets, all done with manipulated puppets in some way, but it's very, very lifelike up to a point puppet. So it had a really kind of uncanny valley or a really kind of creepy feel to it. Basic story goes a little something like, I'm not going to tell you the whole story. Guy, 35 years old, in a dead-end office job, living with his parents, sort of living in a daze. It's work, it's stapling papers together, it's dealing with work BS, it's going home, living in his bedroom, watching horror movies. Single guy that can't make anything work, life is not going well, hangs out with a friend. Wakes up one day and realizes there's a stitch on the back of his neck. Friend calls him up who he was with the night before, saying the same thing. They implanted a bomb, they're going to make you do things, and if you don't do what they say, the bomb will go off. This seems weird. Weird but true. This young man, this middle-aged, 35, what's 35? Pre-middle-aged guy, finds himself in increasingly more bizarre and disturbing situations where he gets these messages saying, kill that guy, do this thing, do that thing. And it's very disturbing, but it's, what will he do? How far will he allow himself to be pushed in order to preserve himself? How many personal moral codes will be broken in order to remain alive? How many lives will he take in order to become, to remain among the living? Voice acting it's all, there are light moments, there are darkly comedic moments in this, but it's all played straight. And the voice actors are good actors. And it's just this weird, sad, disturbing journey that you go on with this film. And it gets weirder the longer it goes. It gets really weird as it goes. This is a cult hit waiting to happen. This is a midnight movie waiting to happen. I've never seen anything quite like this before. This is bizarre. Apparently it was like 10 years in the making, the husband and wife team that worked on this. And you wouldn't know that by watching it because it's sort of timeless. It sort of feels like the modern era, but if this was made 15, 20 years ago, you probably really wouldn't know. And it looks great. So the extras on this, really nicely shot too. Extras on this are interviews. There is Abruptio, a new kind of horror that's 5 minutes. And there are, I neglected to write down what's on this. So I'll show you the packaging and I'll read it from the packaging. So it's got a slipcase, which from the slipcase, I didn't know necessarily that it was all puppets. These puppets could be representations of the actors. So the slipcase slips to reveal a different kind of cover right there, front and back. So the extras, we have audio commentary with writer-director Evan Marlowe and producer Carrie Marlowe, that's the husband and wife team, and an audio commentary track with puppeteer Danny Montooth. The commentary with the husband and wife creative couple is, to me, a lot more interesting than the one with the puppeteer. The puppeteer has interesting things to say over the course of the running time of this, but not as much as the couple does. There's more downtime, more just observational comments, whereas the husband and wife get into a lot of things about how the mechanics of the thing were done, who was performing what. A lot of times you'll see, if they need a full body shot, it's usually somebody in clothing with like one of those rubber face that represents the puppet's face, sort of like the Muppets would do. If you needed Fozzie Bear to run across a screen, usually it would be somebody in a Fozzie Bear costume. So a lot of times it was the wife doing all that. If you saw any hands, it was the wife with rubber gloves. You never see actual skin in this. It's always rubberized or people in puppet costumes or the puppets. So very disturbing. I don't want to say too much about it than that. Very much worth looking at. Great way for Anchor Bay to come back with this on Blu-ray, Abruptio.